So yesterday we tried to configure the holidays and the holiday calendars. We assigned the same holiday calendar to the employee and seen how the holiday class will affect the leave request of the employee. Then we have seen the three different types of work schedules: simple model, period model, and the schedule model. So you people have any questions on those things from yesterday? Okay then. So let's move to the next topic, which is the creation of time type. Like I said, the screen that we use for creating any configuration is manage time of structures. So we'll go to time profile. All right, so let's try to create one time type and send that to the employee and see I mean, what all things we can change in the time type configuration and see the behavior of them. This is the page where we can create a new time type. So these are a set of fields that we have to key in for a plain time type. Like I said, time types can be, I mean, if you try to categorize time type, there will be three type of time types for absence. One, the plain time type where we won't have any quota or the time account type configuration. The second type where we will have, which is a leave of absence time type where we will be assigning these two event reasons based on which system will create a couple of records on job information history of the employee. Then the third category is the leave time type, which is having a time account type configuration to it. Time account type configuration is nothing but system creates a time account and posts the balance. So system will have a balance against this particular leave type. So first look at the plain time type where we won't have any time account type configuration. So I'll first thing we'll have to give a name to that time type or the leave type. So I'll select it as vacation October simple. If you want to maintain the the translations to it, you can click on this localization tab and maintain the language translations for that leave type. Workflow configuration is basically to trigger the approval process. So when employee tries to apply this particular leave type, right, then this workflow will be triggered. I will say absence request. So this is one of the workflow configuration that we have already in the system, which comes from your employee central itself. Then the unit. Should this leave type be in hours calculation or days calculation? So if you take days, whatever the number of hours you work for a day, it'll count that as a day. If you take hours, then your calculation will be in hours. Let's say if your working hours in a day is 8 hours, then system will show that as 8 hours the moment you select one day. If you select 2 days, then system shows as 16 hours. Then if you want to make this particular leave type as country or region specific, then you can select a country here. Otherwise, if you keep it blank, you can utilize the same leave type for all the countries. Classification is since we are trying to create an absence type, it will be absence. For your timesheet, it will be attendance. For other things in the timesheet, you can configure them as on call or break or extra. Collision grouping is something once we do see the behavior of time type and the time account types, I'll come back to this collision grouping at the end, because this will be you'll be able to pick it up when you understand the behavior of time type and time account type. So for now, I'm skipping this collision grouping. Requesting on non-working days allowed. So employee by default, by standards, employee will be able to apply the leave one day only. If you want the employee to allow to request on a non-working day, then you'll have to make this flag as yes. Once we create this time type and assign it to an employee, I'll try to change this flag and show you how that behaves. Accrual recalculation relevance is something which is related to the time account type leave types. Since we are going to create a simple one, this is irrelevant for this particular time type. When we create a time type which is related to the time account type configuration, I'll make a selection here and show you. Then the undetermined end date allowed is also one of the flag where so when you create a leave request, you'll have to select a start date and end date for that leave request, right? But when you enable this flag for this particular leave type, you without selecting any end date, you can apply a leave. The end date will be undetermined in the system, but at the end of your leave utilization, you'll have to come and update the leave request saying this is my end date. So I'll again once we create this time type and assign it to employee, I'll try to change this flag to yes and show you how that behaves. Counting method I'll skip for now. I'll once we finish the other fields, I'll come back to this counting method. Permitted fractions for unit day. So we have taken the unit as let me take it as days. We're taking unit as days, right? So when you take unit as days, you'll have to assign this particular value, permitted fraction for unit day. If you want to allow only full day booking, then you'll select full day booking allowed. If you want to enable half day booking allowed, then you'll have to select half day booking allowed. If you want to enable quarter day booking also, then you'll have to select quarter day booking. When your unit is days, if your unit is hours, then you'll have to make a selection from this drop down. So for now it's days, right? So let me assign a value here saying only full day booking allowed for now. Once we assign this to the employee, I'll try to change this flags and show you how that behaves. This leave of absence event reason plan and leave of absence event reason return to work will be applicable for the time type which is of leave of absence. So these two fields are irrelevant for the simple time type. So for now, I'm not assigning any values here. When we create the second type of time type, I'll assign these two values and show you how system behaves. Duration display according to. So if you make a selection of work schedule, the when employee applies a leave, system gives you the requesting days calculation. So if you select work schedule, the calculation will be based on your employee's working days. If the selection is calendar days, irrespective of what work schedule or what is the working days for you, the calculation will be based on your calendar days, which includes your non-working days, which are like Saturday, Sunday, or holidays and everything. So for now, let me make it as work schedule and show you the behavior first. The third one is deduction quantity. When you make deduction quantity as the option, you'll create a counting method, which is a custom calculation method where you can assign a different pattern to it. So I'll show you that later on once we assign this to the employee. Activate cancellation workflow. So when employee tries to apply a leave, this workflow will be triggered. And if you want to enable the cancellation, let's say if employee is trying to cancel an approved leave, if you enable this, then only the workflow will be triggered for a cancellation. Otherwise, system won't create any cancellation workflow. I'll make it as yes. Admin workflow configuration. So there are, I've shown you two screens, right? When employee, where right is one of the thing is employee self-service screen. The other one is the administer time screen. So if employee is applying the leave, then this workflow will be triggered. If anybody is applying the leave on administer time on behalf of the employee, then this workflow will be triggered. So I'll keep it blank because we will be doing the testing and all stuff, right? So I don't want the workflows to be triggered. So I'm keeping this blank for now. Flexible requesting allowed. If you remember in the workflow configuration, I've shown you one field where flexible requesting allowed was enabled for the work schedule, right? What was the first one that we created yesterday? This one. This one, flexible requesting allowed. I've made this field as flag as yes here, right? So if you want this to be worked in the work schedule and the time type configuration, this has to be made as yes. So for now, let me keep it as no and change the field value once we assign this to the employee and show you the behavior. Then absence retention group is basically your data retention management policy. So in Employee Central, you basically create that policies, right? To what extent the history of the employee data should be maintained in the system. So you'll have to pick up one of the group from the policies there so that whatever the data that is being maintained against this leave type will be maintained as per the policy that we have in the retention group. Posting priority is for the leave type which are having the time account type configuration. So for now, I'm not assigning anything, and it is not relevant also for simple time types. Cancellation workflow configuration is a custom field. This is not a standard field. This is just for the purpose of having a workaround for some of the other functionality. So this is not a standard field or not even needed. Will not even be there in your instances where you're trying to create. So I'll save this particular time type configuration. So now this has been created. We have until unless you assign this time type under your time profile, this will not be visible to employee. So if I go to time and try to apply a leave on behalf of this employee, so the one which we have created is October, so vacation October simple. So it is not there. The moment you assign this under the time profile of this employee, you'll be able to see that new time type. This one. So in the time profile configuration, you'll have these two flags enabled in employee self-service scenario and favorite time type. Enabled in self-service scenario is basically if you want employee to be able to view this time type or the leave type and apply or not. If you enable this yes, then only employee will be able to apply a leave in the employee self-service. Otherwise, this can be accessed only by the administrator from the administrator time page. You can assign a maximum of 3 favorite time types only. So this is, let's not keep that field. External code for this, I'll say vacation. Right, so I'll save this time profile configuration. Now when we try to create an absence on behalf of the employee, you will be able to see that new time type. or the leave type, I would say. This is vacation October simple. So this is the new leave type that we have. As per the work schedule of this employee will be working from Monday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday is non-working day. So that is the reason why the selection of day is Friday, right? 14th of October is Friday. So that is the reason why system is prompting this message. If I select a day before, then system will give us the requesting as one day, right? So we'll try to see the some of the values that we maintain in the time type configuration. The first one is unit, right? So here, when you make a selection of dates, system will show the requesting in a days unit. If I change that to hours, and one more thing, so we have given only full day booking allowed here, right? So first let's look at that fraction and then move to hours. So if I make the change to half day booking allowed and save, then in the leave type request, system will give you this option of requesting for full day and half a day. If I change this to quarter day, the selection of fraction to quarter day, then the drop down will again change. One single day, your requesting drop down will become 0.25 day, 0.5 day, 0.75 days, 1 day. Right, so that's how this field will impact the behavior of the leave request. Now let's change this to hours, and this is irrelevant, and since you will have to select the only full day booking allowed, let's say, and I'll save this. If I try to create the absence again, select the leave type, make a selection of a working day, see now the quantity is showing in hours, 8 hours, because this employee's work pattern is 8 hours per day. Now let me change this flag to full hour bookings allowed. And try to request the absence once again. Make a selection of a working day. Now you'll see the drop down of 1 hour to 8 hours, because we are saying only full day, full hour booking only allowed. Now I'll make the change it to try to create the absence again. Selection of a working day. See here, you can make your own selection. Let's say it can be 7 or 30 minutes or 50 minutes, anything. Till 8 hours. It can be half an hour also. 00 30. right? So this much of quantity will be requested. When we have the time account type configuration where we have quota, so this much of balance will be deducted from the account. Right, I'll put it back to the days unit and make this selection as half a day booking allowed. Then the next flag would be requesting on non-working days allowed is not enabled, right? So let's enable this and see the behavior. So if I try to create the absence again, so far system is being I mean, system was giving us the prompt, right, to select a working day. Now it will not be the case. See, because we allowed the employee to request on non-working days as well. 14th October is a non-working day for this employee. However, since we have enabled this flag, so system is allowing the employee to request the leave on a non-working day as well. But the requesting will anyways be 0 because the selection of duration display according to is selected as work schedule. So now let me change that to calendar days, where even the non-working days will be counted as a day request. So if I try to create the absence again, see, now the requesting has become 1 day because system will even consider the non-working days as well for the deduction. Then we have the undetermined end date. This one I'll select it as yes. So far system is prompting us to select the end date, right? Now after this, an additional flag will be enabled for that particular leave type. You see this undetermined end date. If you check this, then you don't have to select end date. This pop up because we have maintained multiple types of work pattern for this employee to see the behavior of work schedules, right? We have maintained one record effective 1st November, 1st December, and all stuff. That is the reason why system is prompting us that message. Let me delete them. So this is the schedule which we have assigned. I'll delete that. This is the period. Delete. Right. Now system should allow us without any issue. So there is an absence already for this employee. In the future, it seems. Let me cancel it. See, so your undetermined end date will always be the infinity date, which is December 31st, 9999. So system does check the validation and see if there is any inconsistency in the data that the employee is having. So now since we have cleared all of those things, system is allowing us without any prompt. So that's what the relevance of undetermined end date flag. Then duration display according to, let's see that. So for now, system says, okay, let me remove this undetermined end date. This one also. So here, when employee is requesting for a leave, let's say from Monday to Sunday, then the calculation would be based on calendar days is what we have given, right? So if I select from Monday till Sunday, oh sorry, it is giving 7 days of requesting, right? That's because we have selected calendar days here, duration display according to. If I change that to work schedule, then system will check only the number of working days in between the start date and end date and shows the requesting days. So even if I select 16th is a working day for that employee. So system is giving 5 days only, because from 10th of October till 16th of October we have 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5 working days. So the calculation will be only for working days. Then the third type that we have, third category is deduction quantity. When you have deduction quantity, you will have to assign a counting method. So let's see what it is test. Okay, let's create a custom one or a new one. Let's say I want to exclude Wednesday and Thursday. So for this employee, Wednesday and Thursday are working days, right? Let me create a Wednesday. Exclude Wednesday and Thursday. Monday should be included, yes. Tuesday, yes. Wednesday, no. Thursday, no. Friday, yes. Saturday, yes. Sunday, yes. So I'll use this. Exclude Wednesday and Thursday. And I'll say this works only for, you need to assign posting rules before you can assign a counting method. So this particular custom pattern that we have, right, will only work for the time account types, the time types which are having time account type quota, or the balance posting account. So for a simple time type, we cannot assign this particular custom method. I'll show you when we create a time account type for this leave type and change this display duration display according to and show you. So let me make it again work schedule days and save. Anything else is left? Flexible requesting allowed, yes. So the work schedule that we have is also allowed for flexible requesting, and even the time type that we have. So now let me try to create a leave request. Select the time type, make a selection of the leave request days. If you'd have noticed, this field was non-editable for us initially, right? Since we have allowed this flexible requesting allowed, then this gives us an option to select your own number of days. So between 10th of October to 16th of October, we have 6 calendar days. So I can make a selection of any number of days between 1 to 7. If I try to select more than what we have, system will prompt me. Because system does check the maximum number of days that you can take in between these two dates. If you consider calendar days, the maximum that we have is 7 days. If you consider only working days, then the maximum of 5 days. But since we have enabled the flexible requesting, system does check the calendar days only. So it can be 0 or it can be 7 as the maximum. 1. So 0 is also not allowed. Okay. So even if I select start date and end date of 5 working days, I can say that I'll take only 1 day in between them.
Hey, Harsha, Akash this side.
Hi, Akash.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes,
So, Harsha, here we have selected a work schedule, like based on the work schedule, the days will be calculating.
correct.
When we are enabling this functionality to add the flexible time, so
Testing.
why it is allowing to take like 7 days? We already had
So that's what
configured that
flexible
2 days will
requesting.
be. Yeah.
Correct. So work schedule, we have given the pattern as work schedule. But since this
Yeah.
flexible requesting is also allowed, the maximum that you can take is the number of calendar days in between the start and end date. So this will override this functionality.
Okay. Okay.
If you
So
don't
if
want to
we allow
override the requesting, the
flexible,
calculation.
yeah,
Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, if we allowed this requesting, flexible requesting, so it will override the functionality and will take all the calendar days between the start and end date we have selected, right?
Not really. So that's what I was about to say. So initially, when you select a start date and end date, the calculation will be based on the configuration that we run. So system is giving 5 days of requesting based on the work schedule that we have.
Okay.
Since the employee is allowed for the flexible requesting, employee can choose his own number of days, but that number of days can be
Hmm.
maximum of the calendar days in between the start and end date. So
Okay. If
override
the
means
employee, yeah,
Mhm.
I just have one more question. If the employee select 7 days here and try to submit this request,
Hmm.
so will it be allowed or like
Yes,
they
yes.
will give an error?
No, 7 days are allowed.
Okay, but still in work schedule, 2 of the days are non-working days, right? And we have not
Right.
selected it.
So since the flexible requesting allowed, you can take. I mean, so it will check for the number of calendar days in between the start and end date. The maximum that you can request as a flexible requesting is the number of calendar days in between the start and end date. The
Okay.
posting in the
Okay.
backend will be a bit different when it comes to the deduction, but
Hmm.
for your understanding, it is the maximum number of days number of calendar days in between the start and end date.
Okay. Okay.
Let's say
Got
if I make a selection of let's say start as Friday and Saturday working days for the non-working days for this employer. Right? So 13th and 16th. The number of working days is 2, but the maximum that I can apply is only 4 because that's the number of calendar days that we have in between those two dates.
it. Hmm. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So anything else? I think that's the last flag that we have in the time type configuration. So I'll disable this for now. For further, so that's on the simple time type that we have. Usually, you'll see this kind of leave types for bereavement leave, the paternity leave, maternity leave. But there also you'll have certain validations to check, right? Let's say if it is a paternity leave, then the employee can take maximum. Let's say if the policy is 5 days, then the employee can take maximum 5 days in a year. So those kind of things, the validations, right, can be done from take rules. So we'll come to the take rules at the end of this training part. because first we'll see how the leave type behaves, then how to put the validation rules at the end. So yeah, this is how we configure a simple time type, and relevance of each and every field that we have here, how the behavior of the leave request changes based on the selection that we do against these fields. Then the second category that we have, or second type of time type that we have, is the one which is the leave of absence, right? So like I said, when you select these two fields, this will become a leave type which is of a leave of absence. So when you make a selection of these two event reasons, system does post a particular record on the employee's job information history. So before that, let me first create an absence and show you will there be any effect on the job information history or not. So I'm trying to apply vacation October simple for, let's say, 13th to 16th, 2 days of requesting, and I'll submit this. Where is that? This one, right? So I've applied a leave. Well, let's see if will there be any impact on the employee job information history. So there will not be, but let me just show you that. So if I go to job information, if I see the history, no records are posted, right? But when you try to apply a leave type which is leave of absence, then there will be a change in the behavior. So in the existing this one, let me cancel this. So let me try to assign event reasons for this leave of absence. So here, the leave, then return. So these are the two event reasons that I'm trying to assign, and I'll show you why these two particular event reasons only, right? So you'll be able to see the event reasons in the screen called manage organization page of structure. Event reason. So this is the event reason that I've selected, right? The purpose why I've selected this event reason is because the event reason that we are selecting should have an event called leave of absence, right? Then only system will, I mean, this is the actual configuration that you will have to put it in a event reason that you're selecting. Otherwise, whatever the behavior that we expect from a leave of absence, right, won't happen. So the event reason that you select has to be an event reason which is having an event called leave of absence. Employee status can be anything. It can be an unpaid leave, it can be a paid leave, it can be a dormant, it can be anything. But the event has to be leave of absence, right? And the return to work, return from leave is the event reason that I'm selecting. That should have the event called return to work. In the start of event reason, if you're selecting any employee status other than blank, then you'll have to put even employee status as active here, because employee has to come back to active from the other status that we are selecting. So for the start of event reason, we have selected unpaid leave, right? From unpaid leave, employee has to get converted into active employee again. So that is the reason why this event reason will have an employee status called active. If you don't want the employee status to be changed, keep it blank in both the event reasons, right? So I'll assign these two leave event reasons and save this leave type. This is one more validation where you cannot allow the employee to book a half day booking. That's because when you change the employee status twice in a day, that will impact the other modules, where if you take HCM or payroll systems, They won't allow the change of employee status twice in a day, right? So yeah, I've changed it to leave of absence time type. Right now, let me create an absence for that. Vacation October, simple. I'll go with the same set of days starting from 13th of October till 16th of October. 2 days of, oh sorry, expected return is 17th of October. So yeah, this is one more behavioral change. When it is a leave of absence event, leave of absence time type, it will not be the end date. It is expected return date. So when you select 17th October as the end date, expected return date, your end date is apparently 16th. So remember this behavioral change. It is expected return date in terms in the case of leave of absence time types. So I'll submit this request. Before that, let me refresh this page and show you what is the job information history for this employee. As of now, the latest record that we have is 2nd September. Now let me submit this. So we've applied a leave for 2 days, which is a leave of absence time type. Now let me refresh this page and show you what system does. See, system has posted one record in the job information history of this employee saying leave of absence event reason. This is what we have selected in the leave type configuration, right? So system does post a record with the event reason that we have selected, puts the employee in the status that we have selected in this event reason, right, and moves out. Moves the employee out of this position as well, right? So that's the first part of it. Once this leave is applied by the employee and availed, employee has to come and update one more field on the return of the employee saying this is my actual return. 17th is my actual return date as well. So let me select 17th and submit. Now if I refresh this page, there'll be another posting of return from leave. Employee status is again active. The event is in return from leave, and as usual. Right, so this is how system creates job information history in the employee job information based on the event reasons that we select in the configuration of leave type in case of leave of absence. Let's say if this request was done by mistake, and if you want to cancel it, you cancel the request. And if you refresh this page, those two records are gone now. Clear on leave of absence time type? Any questions do
Yes,
you have on this?
yes, for sure. Maybe we can try it on the demo system, and if we have some question, we'll ask later.
Sure. So yeah, that's on the leave of absence time type. Let me cancel that, correct it, and remove this thing because I want to use the same time type for the time account type configuration as well. Okay, so the time account type configuration. So this is from where you can create, or you can create a fresh. I mean, you can use a fresh page to create the time account type. So initially, you'll see only this set of information on time account type configuration page. But if I show you one of the existing time account type, the number of fields that you see on the configuration of time account type is huge. See, that's because, where is this page? Yeah, that's because depending on the selection that you do on these fields, system will keep on prompting you the additional fields. So that is the reason why you see very minimal number of fields in at the start of this configuration, and humongous number of fields at the end of the configuration, I would say. So we have only 7 minutes, so we cannot do this timer contact configuration in that time. So if you have any questions, you can ask me for these 7 minutes, I would say. We'll try to cover the timer contact configuration tomorrow. If you have any general questions also, you can ask me at this moment.
Oh, Harsha, do we have session tomorrow or is it on Monday now?
That's tricky. So I don't know. I mean, if all of them are there, I would have asked you people whether you want a session tomorrow or not. What do you say? Do you want a session tomorrow, or should it be on Monday itself?
I would say we'll schedule it on Monday because weekend I won't be there.
Hmm.
But many other people have not joined today, so not
Yeah.
sure about that.
Okay, how about you, Pradvish?
Monday would be better.
Okay.